All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into some community-focused stories. And it's Breakfast Daily. They use the hashtag Breakfast Daily on streaming platforms. If you're watching on any of our streaming platforms, the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. Of course, the show is supported and sponsored by Skywater and Creamy Plus. We want to say thank you to them as well, and as well to Note Cosmetics. Now, let's get into some conversations. Now, Galamsey has been raging unabated, pretty much. There doesn't seem to be any end in sight as yet. Now, there's a recent story about what's happening with the Galamsey. Somewhere in Sefwi, Elubo, a chief and the brother of the chief have been arrested for involvement in Galamsey activities. I want to take you to citinewsroom.com and read you the story there. Now, Sefwi Elubo chief brother arrested for engaging in illegal mining activities. And the story goes on to say here that in the Western North Regional Police Command on the 16th of September 2022 arrested the chief of Sefwi Elubo and his brother and are pursuing 6 others in connection with illegal mining in Sefwi Elubo Township. The story goes on to say the suspects, Nana Anini Bafo and his brother Kwejo Afi, were arrested following police investigation of a video circulating on social media showing illegal mining activities in some compound houses of the town. Police say that the investigation so far has discovered dugout pits from the compound leading to the bedroom of the chief's brother. Story goes on further to say, and I quote, 4 other deep dugout pits have been uncovered by the police in other houses in the same vicinity. Investigation has further revealed that the chief, his brother, and 6 other suspects who are on the run are the main people behind the illegal mining activities. The police further assured the public that all those involved will be brought to face justice. All right, so that's the story there from on our news portal, citinewsroom.com. Now, Frema, we've known this for some time now, that there are people who are vested with authority and trust in our communities who are complicit, if not actively involved. They are aiding and abetting, you know, those who are involved. And this is a classic case in point, you know. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Sometimes it's exhausting, it's draining, you know, having to come back and talk about the same thing over and over and over again. For me, I think that it's sad to say, but we are not making any headway with our fight against Galamsey.
It doesn't seem like it.
And I guess it's because people involved know that, 1, nothing will happen. 2, we just concentrate on the small fries and leave the big weights, you know. So really, we are not doing so much. Do we even trust the task force that has been mandated to go fight this? You know, how come it looks like people are not afraid? People are just taking it to different heights, you know. Because if now we are bringing it home, we are no longer hiding in the bushes to do this. Our very homes, you know, we are kind of creating dugout pits to mine. Then really, we've lost this cause. We are not achieving anything. And I don't think anybody in this country will be surprised to say that we are not making any headway. But quite honestly, I don't even know what else to say. No, it is that terrible because I don't think whatever punishment meted out to these people who are found engaging in illegal mining is deterring anybody. Otherwise, people won't do it, you know, because they know that worst case scenario, you are arrested, you grease somebody's palm, you are left off the hook. So really,
well, I mean, the reality is that, like you said, I mean, there are 3 levels of players in all of this. There are those who are at the very bottom of the ladder, who are, you know, eking out a living for 10, 20 Ghana cedis a day, you know, by going into the pit themselves and trying to find little bits of, you know, gold ore, not even gold ore, you know, which of course hasn't been refined yet, it hasn't been processed yet, just in the dirt. That's one, that's a fair bottom level. Then you have the middle level players who are, they have their boys in the field, you know, and they pay them off on a daily basis for whatever proceeds they go and bring, right? Then you have the big players who are what we refer to, and I'm sure we've seen it in the papers, the hidden faces, the hidden names behind Galamsey, those who are actually the financiers, those who can afford to hire 50 excavators, those who can afford to say, you know, own the Galams, the excavators and so on. And so it is at that level, if we really want to win the fight, that's the level we need to go to. And that's the level we need to deal with the problem at. Not even the middle level players.
Oh no, because you see, as for the hungry guys out there, you know, there will always be the guys who will go out there. So if you are arresting those people, really,
there's
you're
more
not
of them.
it.
No, and there's more of those people.
Exactly. So it's just like taking medicine for symptoms of maybe malaria. You know, so I have a headache, and so I take a painkiller, and then for some time I'm okay.
But that's
instead
what
of treating malaria, we are doing something else. So if we form task force that will go to the mining sites, you know, drive these people, arrest them. Really, we're not doing so much because you won't be there right through. So what happens? And these guys can afford to get anybody. One, I think that we are not fighting this holistically. One, so you see, when we talk of education, it's not about Galamsey is bad. Galamsey is bad. Yes, we know it is bad. But do the people understand why it is bad? How it's going to affect us as a people? Do you get it? One, do we have that understanding? Two, if you tell a community to stop illegal mining, what else should they do? Okay, because sometimes, in as much as we don't want to do it, the reality on the ground is we must eat. So what should we do? It is
a reality.
You know, so yes, we know that we are degrading the environment, but then what? Because even if you are giving leap money to people, how much are you giving them? How long will that go to sustain them? You know, if we are punishing people who are engaged in illegal mining, how punitive are these measures? You know, I mean, what will happen? So you tell them to stop, you arrest these guys, what are they taken to? What happens to them afterwards? Do people get to know what happened to the guys who were arrested in this area, so that I know that, okay, I can track the punishment? So if I'm engaged in this, this is what's going to happen to me. Do we have all these things put there? How honest? Honest are the people who claim they are the ones who are fighting this. You know, because when people live in communities, they see the kind of people who come around. You know, we are in a country where you are afraid to speak up because you don't know what will happen to you. But if we see Honorable so and so, Mr. so and so, Nana so and so, and we are all here, and when the cameras come, these are the guys who will come and tell us that, no, it is wrong, you can't do that. When there are no cameras, we know their sites. How do you convince commoners like me, you know, to stay away when I know that, but these guys are living big on this? So the little I can do, I also engage in that.
So let me show you something, Frima. I'm just trying to do a reference to something here. This is 10 grams. 10 grams, okay? 1 gram of gold, and this is 10 grams. You know how light this is, right? This is very light. 1 gram of gold, I just looked online today. 1 gram of gold is currently $53 for a gram of gold. That's a tenth of this. Is $53. You know where the dollar is today? So you realize that it's a crazy situation we find ourselves, because you're trying to you're pulling people back from the brink of hell. But hell is very attractive. Hell is very nice. You know, so as you're holding them, you say, no, let me go. I want more of it. You know, and that's the problem that we find. We are creating a veritable hell for ourselves in the future, where we're going to have to actually import water to bath with. That's how crazy it's looming, it's coming.
Yeah.
But we don't see it.
We don't?
We have, well, you see, the things that...
I think that the greed is not allowing us to see.
That's the problem.
Because we know, but people just feel
that... but the people on the ground who are in the water pulling the gold out, they don't understand what we understand.
No, why I will disagree is the fact that they must even understand it better.
But
because we live so far away, you
yes.
know, so we will turn on our taps and we get water.
Yeah.
But if you're in a community where you depend on the river in your community, and that river when you were growing up was very clear, now it is brown, and you realize that when you even pick your bucket, you don't have anywhere going to fetch water. You don't need somebody to come from Accra to come and tell you that stop what you are doing. You know that we are messing up the water, and so now we have to travel longer distances, you know, to fetch clean water. What else do you want to see? I think that, one, we lack that willpower to say that we are fighting. Now, we always talk about fighting Galamsey, but the question is, are we fighting it? Do you get it?
Yeah.
Truly, are we fighting it, or we are just speaking about fighting it? Because quite honestly, we are not seeing any headway. You know, we are not making any progress with this fight. It keeps getting terrible.
So the police actually came up with a statement regarding this matter that we were talking about, and the police said, on the police release that was released on the 17th of September, says Sefwi, Elubo chief and his brother arrested, 6 others being pursued in connection with illegal mining. And so the statement from the police has 4 points here, and is undersigned by the Director of Public Affairs, the Chief Superintendent of Police, Grace and Sakrofi. And it says the police on September 16th, 2022, arrested the chief of Sefwi Elubo and his brother and are pursuing 6 others in connection with illegal mining in the Sefwi Elubo township in Western North region. The suspects, Nana Enini Bafo and his brother Kujo Afi, were arrested following the police investigation of a video circulating on social media showing illegal mining activities. And it goes on with a point 2, explaining exactly what it is that, and they say that the investigation continues, and they would like to assure the public that they will be brought to book.
Anyway, we hope so. And well, so let's go over the phone lines and talk to Deputy Director Arocha Ghana, Daro Busu. Thank you very much, Daro, for your time. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much as well, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Right, so we are very good here. Thank you very much. Now, let me find this out. What do you think? Are we truly fighting Galamsey, illegal mining, or we are trying to portray that we are fighting illegal mining? Which is which?
Okay, that's a very tough question, and what I can say from observation on the ground is the fact that in communities which are exposed to some of these illegalities, most of them are not happy about what is happening. Most of them wish that the state agencies on the ground, which are supposed to help them to ensure compliance with these laws, would really get to work and support them. Because, I mean, this issue that we're talking about this morning, the arrest of the Elubo, the chief from the Elubo township and all of that, there are several communities which are faced with similar problems who report these incidences to the nearest police station close to them, but eventually get nothing done for them. So at that community level, community wish that they could, but you also need to understand that there is a lot of coercion, there's a lot of money being used on the ground to get people to agree to these things. Then on the other side of the same issue is the leadership who are also supposed to be championing this fight against Galamsey, fighting it. And that's where we see that, yes, the government has made certain commitments, certain statements, and even put in place certain actions. But as to whether those actions are having the needed result, that is a different matter. Because on the ground, you see our water bodies are still polluted, communities are still getting their farmlands exposed, and all of these are still going. So, in one breath, the people who are suffering do not want it, but we at the top also keep making excuses that this is an issue of livelihood, let's give them an opportunity, let's regularize it, let's formalize it. I need to be frank. All of us need to be frank with ourselves. Small-scale mining has been regularized and formalized long before this issue started. But we thought that, okay, let's give Galamsey a chance, and this is where we find ourselves. So at the top, I don't see a very strong commitment to this, because it is one thing saying, I'll do this, and one thing not doing it by your actions. Now, let's look at the recent statement that the minister brought us in terms of revamping action on Galamsey. In one breath, you say forests and also river bodies are no-go areas, and then you conclude that statement with, except in exceptional cases. So which are those exceptional cases? So we say one thing and act in another way. And that is why I say that the leadership is not fully committed to the fact. They create a lot of loopholes for themselves so that this action can keep going on and we keep running in circles, and the vicious impact of this thing keeps happening to all of us. So for me, it's a difficult question, but to really say what it is, the top leadership is not fighting it fully as they should.
No. So what do we do? And breaking things down properly, you know, is it an issue of the local people or those at the bottom of the ladder not understanding the dangers associated with illegal mining? So, for instance, they don't care about destroying water bodies. They don't care about the environment. You know, they are losing their farms. And it looks and it appears that people are, you know, happily doing this because they don't mind sacrificing their farms, you know, just so that they can go into illegal mining. Is it lack of education? Is it greed on the part of leaders? Is it the fact that people must survive? What exactly would you say is the issue here?
So you see, for every society, people will want to go beyond certain boundaries that are set. And they will do that for as long as the system compliance mechanism is not working. I mean, just like every place, if you allow people to go and steal from others, they will do it willingly. If people have the strength and they are more powerful, they'll take whatever they want from other people if there's nothing to limit them and set boundaries for them. And that is what communities find themselves. We all know for time, many generations now, that mining is also a legal way of getting a livelihood. But if you do not regulate it, people will even dig their houses, dig their homes, dig rivers, and dig everywhere. That's what you have seen in Elubo. So that is where, as a society, we let the compliance system keep people within boundaries. So sometimes I would say that we shouldn't put the blame so much on the people at the bottom. Yes, we must have values as the people ourselves, but we need the boundaries set for us as the people to help all of us live within that. If that boundary setting does not work well through the laws and the compliance systems that are in place, then you have people just forgetting and taking whatever they want as their will without care for their neighbor, without care for other people. So this is why I think that both the state and the citizens must respect the boundaries they set for themselves. We must have values as a state. We must then use the boundaries and the laws of the state to keep people within those values that we have set for ourselves. Now, we have clear laws on how people can utilize mineral resources. Those laws must be seen to be working to keep people within boundaries. I think at the point we failed to ensure compliance with those boundaries that were set. And that is why it got out of hand and we are still reeling under its impact. Until we start making those compliance systems work, we're going to come back to this discussion over and over again. You get it? So I believe that, yes, people have values, people must live, people must get a livelihood, but we need to make sure we set boundaries for them. And if you don't do that, people, if allowed, will just take whatever they want and not care for anyone else. So the boundaries must be set right, and we must make sure that the systems in place to make sure these boundaries are working, people are respecting it, it's working. And all countries that have lived, that are showing progress and growth, make sure that the boundaries set were clearly respected by people, and where people did not respect them, the laws were made to take their full course in terms of the necessary deterrent measures in place.
But Daryl, isn't that the difficulty we find ourselves? Because as far as we are concerned, the government has even initiated processes, you know, task force have been formed just to make sure that we deal with this menace. Now, any day, any time, we'll see deputy Lance Minister, you know,
Yeah.
Mrekudika is always out there, you know, trying to get people to stop this. Now, the police and the military will also come together to, you know, form groups to go there, arrest people and all this. Now, where do we move on? Because we have all these systems in place, but the problem persists, if not even progressing. Who has to do what, really?
Okay, I think that is good. It's good to know that the central government through the ministry is doing certain things. But you see, the problem we are facing now is that it should not take somebody from Accra, a team from the head office, a team from the military command to go to a village for something to happen. We have a very clear decentralized system, and I would say that Ghana is very fortunate to have that system working perfectly. But the government is not ensuring that officers who are put in charge of district police command and also the DCEs and all of that, we need to expect them to deliver results on making sure that Galamsey does not overtake their various communities and districts. That is where the responsibility should be. And people are not able to do their work at that level, then we should get them out of the way and let people who are committed to the cause come and take up those positions. Otherwise, you always have somebody coming from the ministry and tell you what, the ministry cannot go all over the country at a particular time. But the decentralized system of police, district police commands and all of that, they are always there. They have a very small area they are managing. They can tell where to go, when to go, when. But this is not happening. So I think that we need to see a very strong, I would say, responsibility and decentralization of this whole action. And not always so for me, when I see the minister on the road arresting people, I feel like, wait, this is a waste of time. What is the district police command doing? If community members are making reports to their district police commands and all of that, why are those officers not responding to them? So if we see that there's a problem at that level, why police commands, district level are not working, let's go down there and deal with it. Otherwise, you always have this issue of the minister coming down, and this will not help us solve the problem. It won't. We need to respect the decentralized system, make it work, and people who are not making it work, we get them out of the way and put people who are committed to the cause in place.
Daryl, I just want to ask you this quick question here.
Yeah.
How come it is that since we started this fight against Galamsey, no one at the very top level in terms of people that actually finance, people who have the capacity to buy excavators and own or hire, you know, huge numbers of excavators, no one has yet been apprehended or caught by the law. What do you think is the issue here?
Well, I think so this also boils down to the compliance issue we're talking about. The law, and I would say that the amendment to Act 703, which is Act 995, was very clear. If anybody facilitates, you even support, you aid people to engage in illegal mining activities, you are also culpable. But that is where we have a problem. When they get to the ground, they burn the machines they see on the ground, they arrest the people they see, but they never go through a full compliance measure of trying to understand or get to the bottom of who brought the excavators to the ground. How did the excavators even get to the ground? Which police checkpoint did they pass? Did we see them? Did we not see them? So our compliance mechanism is not complete. Also, there has been, as you can see, an attempt to shield politically exposed persons. Because a lot of this thing that is happening, if you go to most areas, the community people know who is driving the menace in these areas. They know. If you ask them, they will tell you. But the police and the other people will never get to the bottom of this because, as you know, because they are politically exposed. So we really have a problem with having a comprehensive enforcement regime and also the leadership sticking to what they said they would do. In 2021, when we organized the first regional small-scale mining dialogue that was under the office of the president and was chaired by the Lance Minister, if you look at the communique and the recommendations that came, everybody recognized that these politically exposed persons were making the fight against the land very, very difficult. But some years down the line, we don't see any action to make sure that any of these people has been set up as a scapegoat so that all these people who are following these menace can stop. If you go to certain forest reserves, I know a place in the Maryland called Town on the Free Forest. The communities who are complaining that there are people in that forest who are politically exposed. They've been manning this forest for a long time. They've been showing videos of this area on Facebook, on social media, but we have not seen the police follow up on these areas.
Okay.
But when it was time for the Elubo area, maybe they are not politically connected, so somebody goes for them. So until we are sure that the fight against Galamsey is fair and does not shield anyone without looking at people's political color and affiliation, we're just going to be running in circles as we are doing. So I think that it boils down to the leadership, and that's why I said the first question was difficult, but we know that if the head is not committed, the rest of the body of the institution will all collapse and not work as it should. Yes. So the leadership must really show that they are fully committed to the cause. Otherwise, this discussion will never end.
All right. Thank you very much, Darryl. Your thoughts are very valuable to the conversation. Thank you. We've been speaking with Darryl Bosu of Arocha, Ghana.
Right, now quickly, let me just draw your mind to this story. Now we go as far back as April 3, 2017. 2017, Citi FM launches #StopGalamseyNow campaign. Now this story can be found on the citifmonline.com. Now Citi FM will take its fight against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, from the studios to the streets this Monday morning, with the launch of a campaign to raise awareness on the menace which is slowly ravaging water bodies and the environment. Dubbed #StopGalamseyNow, the campaign makes 5 clear demands of government to clamp down on the menace which is destroying the country's land and water resources and may see Ghana resorting to the importation of clean water in the next 2 decades. So let me just calm down. And then the demands include the total cessation of all small and medium-scale mining for a period of 6 months, the cessation of the issuance of new mining licenses for a year, the reclassification of mining categories to reflect the use of new and larger equipment, the allowance of water bodies to regenerate their natural ecology, tree planting, and a land reclamation project. Citi FM staff will be distributing leaflets at vantage points in Accra as a charge to Ghanaians to join in the fight. Essentially, we are saying that Galamsey must get to the point where the public conscience must be pricked and people must get involved. We have done a lot of stuff on air, but we want people to see Galamsey for itself as they drive through traffic. So this was Mr. Avle, our general manager, explaining the motive behind the Stop Galamsey operation. Now 5 years down the line, we are here talking about this. People now actually digging, pits in their homes, on their compounds for illegal mining. Are we moving on or are we regressing? This is something for all of us to ponder. Now, if government is not showing enough commitment, if maybe security agencies are not doing enough, you and I are also contributing. Now we are the ones who are digging. I don't think that the task force came to people's homes to dig pits, for this. So when it comes to importing water, you ask yourself, can you afford it? So if we will all not pay attention, maybe a politician somewhere can afford it. Maybe security people can afford it. Can you and I afford it? How much can we buy to drink, to bath, to cook, to do everything? And what otherwise is always enough.
Yeah. Well, Breakfast Date is going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.